My name's Kevin Hancock, and I'm the CEO of Hancock Lumber Company in Maine, which is one of the oldest family businesses in America. The company goes back to the 1840s, and I'm here to talk to you about my latest book, 48 Whispers, which takes place on the northern plains, a land largely without trees. So I've got to talk a little bit about how I got from here to there. The book, 48 Whispers, covers a decade in time in which I traveled periodically from Maine to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in the southwest corner of South Dakota. I've now been there over 24 times, taken 2 Sioux names, and made many, many friends there. It's a place that changed my life. But I want to just quickly talk about how I got there. In 2010, I acquired a rare neurological voice disorder called spasmodic dysphonia that made speaking at the time extremely difficult. And I was, as a CEO, someone who spoke a lot. Really, my voice was my tool in leadership, and suddenly I couldn't use it. So I had to quite quickly think differently about how I was going to lead without really using my voice. A couple of years later, in 2012, I was really looking for an opportunity to catch my breath, regain my balance, search for my voice, when I picked up a copy of National Geographic, and the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation happened to be the cover story. And I read that article and was just swept away by the place, the people, the history, the culture, the spirituality, the power of nature, and decided on a whim I was going to go there. One trip became 2, 2 became 3, and I've now been there, as I mentioned, over 24 times. When I travel to the region, I'm typically there for 4 or 5 days at a time, and all I bring with me is a camera and a notebook or a journal. And through the years, I took hundreds and then thousands of pictures, and sitting alone on a windswept hilltop looking over a herd of buffalo, I would write, and thoughts would come to me when I was alone and immersed in nature. And ultimately, I decided that was a collection of pictures, images, if you will, and a collection of ideas or thoughts, musings that I wanted to share. And that became the basis for the book, 48 Whispers. So that book really speaks to the regenerative power of nature, of really reconnecting with the natural world, thinking about how nature moves and flows. And of course, on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, the community that lives there, their history is exceptionally intimately intertwined with nature. They moved following the seasons and the buffalo, and really came to understand how nature works and what nature's rules are. And I really came to believe that in that indigenous historic wisdom is a great deal of knowledge and understanding and spirituality that we really need here in the present day, in the 21st century. And so the book, each page as you open it has a full page color picture and then a short contemplation that only takes a minute or two to read. And the book is designed to encourage us to slow down, to catch our breath, to look inward for strength and spirit and meaning and direction and understanding, and to really bring those concepts into our 24/7 bigger, better, more internet wired go, go, go world. And I'm an example of how one can benefit from that. As the CEO of a lumber company competing globally, you wouldn't think I'd be pausing 2 or 3 times a year to take off to a remote Indian reservation on the northern plains. And yet, for me, taking that time to serve myself, to strengthen myself, to ground myself, to reconnect myself with the oneness of nature, all of that actually helped make me more valuable in my formal leadership roles when I came back home. Final big theme of the book is really the power of respecting all voices and helping people come into their own authentic voice. I'd acquired my voice disorder. In doing so, I actually came to understand what it was like to not feel fully heard. The Sioux have a understanding that I love, and they talk about it as mitakie oiasen, which translated means all things are related, all things are one thing, we are all brothers. The concept there is there's no separation between nature and ourselves. We are each unique manifestations of the natural world. And it's easy to lose track of this in our internet wired, bigger, better, more, go, go, go world that we live in. And so 48 Whispers is really a call to slow down a bit, to reconnect with nature, to contemplate some indigenous wisdom and spirituality, and to think about how we can put all of that into play in the modern world.